Hey, how's it going, YouTube? How y'all doing today? Got these animals finishing up breakfast right now. This morning, I was going through my investment ideas for just what I got going on. Taking a look at things I would like to invest in, what kind of capital I would need, etc., etc. This whole grain silo thing, I really kind of thought through it. I figured, what would it really cost me? Let's say I bought a grain silo, I spent $1,500 on it. I would end up having to spend probably another $1,000 to get it hauled over here from 2 hours away. I would have to pay to get a concrete slab poured. That concrete slab would probably have to be real thick, probably 10 inches or so. Probably need rebar in it. That if each feed silo weighs 14 tons, that's 12 tons. Or excuse me, if each feed silo can hold 14 tons, then I need 2 of them for a truckload that carries 24 tons. That would leave a little bit of room in each feed silo and each grain silo. That would be a total weight of, if those 2 grain silos were full, that would be like over 28,000 pounds on that concrete slab. So that concrete slab would need to be real thick. It probably need to have rebar in it, etc., etc. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. It's more than just buying a it's more than just buying a grain silo. If I was gonna buy 2 of them, get them installed properly, have all that done, it probably cost me probably close to $12,000. That's before I fill them up with grain. So I was like, man, what if I bought feed sacks? Because I can buy I mean, you know, is it worth it for me? Is it a good investment for me to go spend $12,000 on 2 grain silos to save $150 a month? That'd be a horrible idea. That's $1,000 a month. To put that in perspective, $1,000 a month, if I went to a bank and offered them $1,000 a month on a 30-year finance at 5% interest, that'd be 200 grand. I could leverage $1,000 a month for 20 acres. So if I went and I bought 20 acres, I could make a lot more than $150 a month. So I would rather invest in more land than go buy a grain silo. Well, so I was taking a look around. I would still like to buy bulk grain. So I was looking around. I was looking at what could I do. I was like, maybe I would buy these. They're like they call them super sacks, but they're these big fiber bags. They're made of some sort of fiber, some kind of a fabric. Excuse me. That they're these huge bags that can each hold about 2,500 pounds in them a piece. I've seen them around at times. They're usually used for like hauling construction material. Like if I go to a construction supply business, they'll usually have like gravel, rocks, stuff like that in them. But they can each carry 2,500 pounds, up to 2,500 pounds. They cost $15 each. So if I bought if each one can carry 2,000 pounds, if each one can carry a tonnage, if I only fill them up to 1,500, because I have a 35 horsepower tractor with a front loader on it, so I try and keep everything that I put on that front loader under 1,500 pounds. Even if I did that, if I got 10 of those sacks, it cost me $150. I could put 15,000 pounds of feed in those sacks. So I was like, maybe that's an option, because that cost me $150 instead of $12,000. But either way, these cattle, I'm going to be in for hay season here pretty soon. So these cattle are all going to market. There's zero reason for me to go pick up 12 tons of grain. There's zero reason for me to go pick up 5 tons of grain right now. So maybe, well, this year I'm going to hold on to what money I have. I'm going to see what kind of money I make on these animals, and I'm going to invest that into a hay season. Then I'm going to see what kind of money I make in hay season. Then I'll invest that money in from hay season into raising cattle in fall. Right now, there's zero reason for me to do any of that stuff. I'd rather just hold on to capital so that I have some money for hay season. I have been looking at real estate too. I keep an eye on real estate markets because a big part of farming is making good real estate investments. Okay, so making sound real estate investments. So this was what I was doing this morning. I was looking at fields. So if I go up to 2 hours, it's usually about a little less than 2 hours from Dallas. I am able to buy fields at about $3,500 an acre, $3,500 to $4,000 an acre. What that realistically means, so here in Texas, a property with agricultural tax exemptions has zero property tax. It has zero HOA if it's outside of city limits, zero insurance if there's zero home on it. So it's literally just principal plus interest. Oh, I guess it depends on lenders. Some lenders require an insurance policy that covers the amount of loan. But there's also ways to get loans other than a bank, like seller financing. There's all sorts of ways to do these things. So a $400,000 loan on 5% interest on a 30-year repayment. What is that realistically? Realistically, it's about $2,050 a month. For $2,050 a month, $400,000, if I was willing to go an hour away or about just under 2 hours away from Dallas, I'd have to make a pretty far drive. I'd be able to buy about 115 acres for about $2,000 a month. I could farm that 100 acres and I can make my money back. I can make money to pay for that loan by operating that asset. Here's the big catch though for me, is that I work in Dallas. My job is in Dallas, so I need to be close to Dallas. Another big catch. I personally, how I operate with cattle is I keep an eye on them every day. I need to see them every day, especially stalker animals, especially high risk stalker animals. I need to be seeing them every day to make sure everybody's doing okay. I need to be able to go through these cattle to make sure everyone's doing okay. If I buy a farm 2 hours from Dallas, then I need to go to Dallas to work. Then I need to go out there to keep an eye on my cattle. I'd be commuting something like 3.5 hours a day, which would be a huge waste of time. Also, another big catch is that when it's like this, when it's cold outside, so for me to grow hay, the grass may be growing right now. In these conditions, though, if I harvested hay, that hay would dry. This ground. Okay, hay season is when it's warm. Like if I was gonna cut hay, it would need to be sometime during spring, late spring, or summertime when it's good, when it's dry outside, when it's because right now it's too cold, it's too wet. Harvesting hay right now would be a horrible idea, even if I could. Which grass is barely 2 inches right now, so still needed to give it time. So that means for about 6 months, a year, I would have zero income from that asset. Because if it was 2 hours away, if there was zero way for me to be there every single day, taking a look at cattle, there would be zero way for me to grow cattle profitably. It would be immensely, for me to grow cattle, for me to raise cattle profitably, I need to be here every single day. I need to be keeping a good eye on them, need to be seeing what's going on with them, keeping good track of them to keep them going okay. So if I went 2 hours away, I need my day job. If I went 2 hours away, I could buy land for cheaper, but I could only make money 6 months of the year. Instead of that though, if I paid twice as much, if I paid $10,000 an acre, I could buy a piece of property half an hour from Dallas. I could buy a 60-acre grain field, pay that same amount, $2,050 a month. I could buy a grain field half an hour from Dallas. So I would be paying more per acre. I would have more cash flow opportunity though. I would have I would think that property closer to Dallas, closer to a city, would appreciate faster. My cash flow opportunity would be better even if I paid 2 times as much for acreage. Going over here right now, walking through this mud. So if it was as easy as just I just, you know, a lot of these things, like even these cattle, before I brought these cattle out, I penciled everything. I took a look at market prices, what I could be paying for cattle. When I went to go buy cattle, I kept every invoice to see what these cattle cost me, to see when I brought each animal in. So before I brought these cattle in, I knew it was gonna cost me. So this was the math that I ran before I brought these cattle in October. Market, when I went to go to a sale barn to pick up these animals, I was seeing that they were charging about $1.60, $1.30 to $1.60 a pound for a red animal. A real good black-hided, a real good solid animal was going for about $2 a pound at that 2 weight category, 2.5 weight category. That's the animals that I was looking at. And so when I was over there originally, before I did all this, before I opened up those credit lines, I said, well, didn't my plan go perfectly? There were things that I changed. I originally had opened up enough credit to buy 50 animals, but certain things happened. I only ended up with 35. That's why I have so much credit left over. Oh, that's a long story too. These animals are back on pasture. They're grazing again. Yep. Oh, where was I? Oh yeah. So when I first brought in these cattle, maybe this could be of use to somebody, you know, to work through these things, because I believe that well, there are a lot of people that just get scared. They feel a tremendous sum of doubt. But maybe this will be of use. So here was what I mentally, when I penciled out this entire business of this stocker cattle for this fall, what I penciled out was, if I brought in animals at a certain poundage, now that I have all these animals here, I know what it cost me to bring them in. If I brought in these animals, then I doubled their weight. I took them from 2.5 weight to 5 weight. Then I lost a 10 cents per pound on those, if I lost 10 cents per 100 weight. Oh wait, no, it'd be if I lost 10 cents a pound up to gaining them up to 500. So if I bought them at a 250, 2.5 weight, if I got them at 2.5 weight for $1.60 a pound, if I took them up to 500, then I got $1.40 a pound. As long as I didn't lose 40% of my animals, I would make my money back. That was just well, but then there was also the cost of feed. I'm trying to remember exactly what I did, because this plan was something that I made. It's been a few months now, but I think it came out to be something like I had to, if as long as I didn't lose 30% of my animals, as long as I didn't lose 1 out of 3 animals, I would have an opportunity to make my money back at least. In a worst case scenario, Like if I had half of my animals die, if everything just went horribly, there was a chance that I could lose something like $3,500. So what I did was, I actually have this money still in my savings, because turns out I did have a rough year, but was it a worst case scenario? I actually did okay. I'm actually doing okay. That if I had just a tremendous amount of animal loss, it could have been a horrible situation where I lost something like, if I was gonna run 35 cattle, I could have lost like $3,500 if things went horribly wrong. If I just ended up losing a whole bunch of animals. But I did okay. I'm doing okay. So the upside, there was a downside, but the upside was that I could make myself about $1,000 a month, maybe about $750 a month. So I figured that the upside was worth taking the risk, because right now there's a, if these cattle had just been off, if there was well, if I had zero cattle, there would be zero even potential for income right now. Cattle are all walking back to their freight. I got trees back there. Cattle go back there to. I cut all the limbs from the bottom half of that tree, because they were a lot of thorns on them. The cattle ended up really liking those tree trunks. So they'll sit over there, just rub themselves on it constantly. They'll sit back there, they'll rub themselves on that tree trunk. Then they'll eat grass back there, because there's kind of a little ditch back there where water pools, so grass grows real good back there. I'm gonna stay on the front half of this field because I gotta get going to work here pretty soon. But yep, I mean, yeah, well, I mean, okay, so I feel like personally, being so scared of losing $3,500 that I'm not willing to take a risk is a horrible way to live. That's just my personal belief. Is it right? Who knows? I mean, everyone's got their own right to do whatever it is they would like to believe in. So, well, I mean, to a certain degree, right? If a man going out there to, yep, I guess as the Greeks would say, the only moral, well, how did they define moral wrong? Moral wrong is being cruel on purpose. So animals are all going to graze on grass. Yep. Yeah, there's been a lot of things going on. I'm looking into buying more land, long story short. There's a lot of things to consider more than just $2,000 a month. I got to think about the totality of the situation. I got to think about the potential loss. I got to think about the potential gain. I got to make myself some money. Because, well, I mean, I need to make money. What I mean, what I mean, being broke, it ain't gonna be that. It ain't that great to be broke, right? So I need to make money. If I was looking to do something for quote unquote fun or quote unquote have a good time, that's what a hobby's for. I ain't gonna put $15,000 into something and then say I'm just having myself a good little hobby. If I'm gonna put $15,000 into something, it better make me some money. I better go make some money, because that's on me. Like my whole financial life is tied up into this farm. If I fail to succeed here, if I fail to succeed farming, my whole financial situation for my entire life goes down a pit. I lose everything forever. I mean, how am I supposed to recover from being $275,000 or maybe even up to $350,000 in debt right now? $350,000 of debt. That's almost like $2,000 a month for 30 years. If I have that debt with zero equity, with zero capacity to produce an income from that debt, what maybe I'll recover when I'm an old man, But what am I gonna do then? So I either do this or my financial life is over. So that it is what it is. I need to make money. I need to get going to work. I'm heading back to go back in. Y'all have a good one, you too.